Hello, my little minions. So a lot of you asked me questions about my red hair from when I had it red, and a lot of questions about how I did it, how long did it last, blah, blah. Okay, so this is like a question and answer thing about how I maintained it, how I did everything to it and whatnot, because a lot of people ask me that. Okay, so one of the main questions that I always get is how long does the dye last? For me, it usually keeps its vibrancy for around like 2 weeks, and then it starts to fade out slowly. That's only because I do only shampoo my hair every like 2 to 3 days, but I did condition it like every day. And make sure that in order to keep it like at its brightest for the longest time, you have to wash it with cold water. So when you take a shower, just like pull it up, keep it on, and like try not to get it wet at all, because whenever it gets wet with hot water, that hot water really kind of, and when I did it, it reacted with like the water, and it would just, all the dye would just drain out. And the cold water actually, in my opinion, keeps it in there. So remember, this is my opinion. This is what I've experienced from having red hair. This is not like, oh, you Googled it and you actually know what you're talking about. Like, no, this is what happened with me. Everybody has like different reactions to it and whatnot. So yeah. When I had my hair long, they would ask me how many bottles it would take me. For me, it took me 2 bottles because I did have long hair. It was all the way down to here. So that's why it mainly took me 2 bottles to do that with. Another question is if you could do it with other hair colors. The reason why this is for dark hair only, and it says on the box, is because I believe that it actually contains bleach in it. So if you use it on like a light hair color, it's just gonna bleach it even more, and it's gonna get even like maybe even more red than you want it to. That's why it's made especially for people with black hair or dark hair colors. It does stay on very well, so that's a good thing. And like somebody else asked me if it will actually work on black dyed hair, and yes, the reason why it works is because like I said, the actual dye has bleach in it, so that's gonna help it come out much redder, and that's why it's good for dark hair and dyed dark hair. Oh, another thing, people always ask me what kind of developer you should use. If you're dyeing it for the first time and your hair is a dark color, I would suggest going with a 40 developer, or even if you don't want that much of a lift, maybe a 30 developer. The only reason why you should get a higher one is because it does help strip, it does help the color like get attached more to the hair. That way it stays on better, and that way when you wash out the dye, it does come out much more of that color, so you get most of the use of the dye. If you get a lower number, it's not gonna give you as much of a lift as it would with like a 40. That's why whenever I did my hair or dyed my hair, I used a 40 all the time. I've never used a 30 or a 20 or a 10. I always use 40, and that's why my hair was always really bright red or bright magenta depending on what color I got. Okay, and how long did I wait to re-dye it? I usually waited around a month to re-dye it. Sometimes I will even wait up to 2 months or a month and a half. It depends. If you really don't mind your roots showing, you could just dye it like every 2 months. If you do care about keeping your hair dyed at all times and making sure that your roots don't show at all, I would probably recommend every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, up to a month. Because depending on how fast your hair grows, you're gonna want to time that out evenly. So yeah. Can you dye extensions? Yes, as long as your extensions are real human hair, because I don't know how it's going to react to synthetic hair. That's the only problem. So if it's real human hair, yes, you can dye it. It's like just like dyeing your hair. If they're dark, it's going to work. No worries. Somebody told me that they had blonde hair and they wanted to dye their hair using this. No. The reason why this is for dark hair only is because, like I said, it has bleach in it. Just get regular red hair dye and it's gonna attain to your color normally because your hair is already bleached, it's already light. So the red getting on it is gonna be really easy, so it's not gonna be a big deal for you. What else? What else? So many questions. Another question that I get is, my hair before it was actually Little Mermaid red. It was more like a magenta color like Ariana Grande's. So to answer a question about what hair color you want, ask yourself, do you want it to be more like a pinkish, purplish, like reddish color like Ariana Grande's? Because hers is like on a pinkish red side. Mine was more of a Little Mermaid dark red, like light red, like this, like bright red. So if you want to do that, then yeah, I would recommend getting the magenta. And make sure that whenever you're buying it from sallysbeauty.com, make sure that you pick the color that you want, because if you don't pick, it automatically sends you the magenta, and that's the pinkish red color. If you want more of a red color, you would get just the red. If you want more of like a coppery, like orangey red, excuse me, you would get copper. what color does it fade into after washing your hair multiple times. Depending on the dye, it will either get maybe like a pinkish red if you get the magenta, and then if you had the red like I did, it would kind of actually start turning into like an orangey color. It might actually start to turn into like a coppery, it was coppery blonde in some places, and then it stayed a little bit red in some places. I don't know, it was kind of all over the place. That's only because I dyed it myself, and sometimes I missed a few spots, or I didn't leave the dye in there long enough, so it didn't actually stay in my hair as long as I wanted it to, and that's why it kind of just faded away really easily. So yeah, I've actually dyed my hair just with 2 colors, and I've used magenta and red. So yeah, those are all the questions that I got about me having my red hair that I had for around 7 months. So yeah, it was a while that I had it red, so I kind of know what it's like to have red hair. Okay, so if you guys have any more questions, if you guys have any more comments, just, you know, do it down below, and let me know what you guys think, okay? So yeah, that's it. Subscribe if you like my channel. If you like these kind of, you know, videos, just let me know. If you want to see something else, comment down below. Woo. Alrighty, bye guys.